All right, well, let's get into it. The movie is going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah. And don't forget, I'm rocking the swag.
Yeah, the swag's great. You can get, on our link tree, you can get to the merch from there. linktr.ee/late to the movies. No numbers, just spell it out. And now I don't have to do the merch spotlight at the end.
I think it
does look good in the navy blue.
Yeah, it's the best color because the purple really, I think I like it in the purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, thank you. It's a good, whoever designed this logo did a good job.
That was me before I knew how to design stuff.
Nice.
Well, I would make different choices today, but I think it's classic.
It's a classic movie.
It's a classic.
Type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's classic.
I think I'm the only one that has this.
I think you probably are. 100% you are. Okay. As you know, I don't know how to start the podcast, so it'll either be what usually comes right at the end or something along the lines of Welcome to Late to the Movies. My name is Ben Holton. This is a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week we'll pick a film that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. This week, kicking off a whole new month, which I'll go into depth on in a second, but I'll just leave it at this for now. It's Bird Month. November is Bird Month, and we're kicking it off with 2000's Aardman classic Chicken Run. Technically Aardman/DreamWorks, but we know who actually did all the work. It was Aardman. Jeffrey Katzenberg wasn't there, moving these little plasticine dudes around. Chicken Run, 2000. A movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, no way.
And I don't think I've seen since. But in the back of my head, I was like, I really like that movie. I'm sure I still do. Anyway, we'll get into that in a second. Your guest, everyone's guest, my guest, left or right across your podcast out. We got Anthony.
Ben, I told you they was organizing.
We love Mr. Tweedy. He's right in the end.
Yeah.
And he drops the door on his wife.
Well, he's the ultimate redemption in the whole film.
Yeah, 100%. He was right. It's really about him. Anyway. Anthony, this is 2 in a row for you.
I know, back to back.
Back to back, because
wild.
Work's been crazy and I'm not planning ahead that well, but you're usually down for a quick turnaround.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate it. Anyway, so I should go into Bird Month. Every November, I try and build out a month of Thanksgiving movies. It ends up being that we pick a different thing.
Yeah.
Last November, I think you were actually on a different stop motion movie that was fantastic, Mr. Fox.
Oh, that's right.
We kind of just
that was
did
a year ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we kind of just did like autumnal movies.
Yeah.
And that's a very fall, autumn-ish movie.
Very orange.
Very orange. This time around, I'll give Ray, who will be on an episode sometime this month, the credit. Because I was telling them the same issue I always have, where I just can't figure out enough Thanksgiving movies that I actually want to talk about. And she said, how about kind of related to Thanksgiving, just do birds.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Genius.
Like, oh, yeah. Because, it doesn't even know it'll have to be turkeys.
That's a 2% royalty fee.
I know, right? She gets 2% of the $0. Actually, she might have to pay a couple dollars if she's covering 2% of what the money the show makes. It's all in the red. We got a lot of red on our ledger, just like Black Widow. It's Bird Month. That's why it's going to be movies about birds or having birds in the title or related to birds in some way.
Makes sense.
The cohesion maybe won't be entirely there, but as always, we'll have some through line. First up is Chicken Run. This one is a slam dunk bird movie. Most of the characters are birds. So,
Yep.
I don't know why I'm defending it so vociferously. Just in case you want to email Noah and be like, this isn't bird enough. This one totally is.
This is all about birds. Yep.
This one is all about birds.
It's even in the title.
And this is not our first stop motion animation, but our first Aardman movie. I already mentioned that name. That is the British production company that makes the Shaun the Sheep movies, the Wallace and Gromit shorts and movies. Creature Comforts started way back. This was their first feature-length movie. But by the time they made it, one of the directors, Nick Park, had already won 3 Oscars. So they weren't exactly rookies. It was just their first feature-length movie. And I think this is the first DreamWorks animation movie, technically. They beat out a bunch of other American companies that wanted distribution rights. And they also shared production costs with Aardman to make this. And they were so stoked. It came out, was and still is the highest grossing stop motion movie of all time. And also, I think it was one of the highest grossing animated movies at all time. Made like $200 million. And then just a year later, DreamWorks made Shrek and never looked back. and redefined what children's movies were for at least the next 2 decades.
Yeah. I thought, no, I mean, like Wallace and Gromit, legends.
Fucking love Wallace
Yeah.
and Gromit. Big fan.
Yeah.
And I might cut this to be later on. I wasn't expecting to go into all that, but I don't have notes in front of me, and I remembered it in the moment. I wanted
Sure.
to get it all on tape.
Totally understandable.
So now I'll say, have you watched any, before we talk about the movie, have you watched anything good recently? Did you watch Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, I want to see it in theaters. I'm not seeing it on Peacock.
Sorry to make you come back so early when you haven't had a chance.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe someday.
No, I started watching, well, it's only been a week, but I watched the first 4 episodes-ish of Fall of the House of Usher.
Nice.
It was very good.
I still haven't gotten to it. I'm slacking. I'm sorry.
It's not as scary. It's not as scary or jump scare
It
type.
looks fun though.
Yeah, it's excellent.
It looks more like he's having more fun.
Yeah.
So,
The stories are much more in depth.
nice.
Yeah. And each episode's like not really a standalone, but it follows the same format. It's about one particular character in each episode.
Yeah.
And they all line up to an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah. And it's different. It's like jumping around with chronology, right? Because it's the
Yeah.
dude's super old and he's at like the end and he's reflecting, I
Right.
think is the frame.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it's like his kids each like die weirdly.
Right. Yeah. And they're all related to a Poe story.
Oh, it sounds so fucking
It's
good.
so good. Like the writing is just excellent.
Yeah.
That guy, Mike Flanagan's a genius.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, in case you never listened to the show before, because we talk about him so much, that's the new Mike Flanagan show on Netflix. And I think the last Flanagan Netflix show, believe he's going to Amazon next, maybe.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah. They're not paying for his shows anymore.
Wow.
So.
That's a big mistake.
I think so too. Or maybe he just got too good a deal that they couldn't match because
Right.
Netflix doesn't actually make money.
Right. Right. Somehow they still lose money. Yep.
Yeah.
The subscriber count is too low.
Yeah. That's oh man, I want to get on that so badly.
Yeah, you should.
I
It's
just
very
haven't.
good.
I just haven't. Maybe tomorrow. I don't think I have plans tomorrow, so I can just bang that out.
And all those shows are his shows are all so easy to watch one after another after another. It doesn't take any time at all.
A lot of them kind of demand it
Right.
of you. It's definitely. I think Midnight Mass I watched in.
8 hours.
Yeah, I think I watched it in like.
One day.
It's midnight. I should really go to bed. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'll just do one more. It's only
Yeah.
45 minutes. Like, what is that really going to affect my sleep? And then it's like, well, I
Right.
only got 2 episodes left. Let's keep going.
That's what I did with Bly Manor.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah. Well, related to maybe what you saw earlier today,
Mhm.
but the screenplay is by Karey Kirkpatrick,
Yeah.
who last week I saw. I didn't mention this on the last episode on the last pod, but I saw Mrs. Doubtfire the musical,
Oh, okay.
and he wrote it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, what
No,
a connection.
his older brother's Wayne Kirkpatrick.
Oh,
His older brother wrote the 2015 musical Something Rotten
yes.
and the 2020 musical Mrs. Doubtfire,
Okay.
and which was absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Hit all the high notes. I saw the movie. Who hasn't seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
Our generation.
We'll have
like
to find
1,000
someone when we
times.
do divorce month.
Yeah. What month is that? January?
Probably January. Maybe next month. I don't have a December theme yet.
Yeah. That'd be excellent. And it was the real Broadway. Well, it's a husband and wife team that do Mrs. Doubtfire. One plays Miranda, one plays the Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
And he's the original Broadway star.
Okay.
He came back. I saw it at the PPAC. It was just excellent. It was probably one of the best musicals I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So which guy was the star? The writer is the same guy?
No, the music and lyrics are written by Karey and Wayne Kirkpatrick.
Okay, gotcha.
So Karey wrote Chicken Run.
yes.
His brother wrote Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
So it's keeping it in the family.
yes.
Yeah.
100%. Understood. Yeah, I'm just making sure I got him all the speaking of music and Kirkpatrick, any relation to Chris that we know of?
Not that I'm seeing here.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's too bad. Maybe though. Yes, a little related to what I saw earlier today, because I also saw a show at the PPAC, the national tour of Book of Mormon came through. I had not seen it before. I liked it a lot. So funny.
Is it
very, very South Parky,
Yeah.
obviously.
Is it worth all the hype? I've never seen it
Yeah.
either, so I know it's
it's one of the most hyped shows ever.
Yeah.
Just absolutely impossible to get tickets for it's infamously impossible to get tickets for.
Yep.
when it came out for a long time. And then I guess Hamilton took that crown. Now on the national tour, apparently also like seems to have sold out most of the showings here.
It completely sold out. I think there's only a few tickets left for Halloween night, and I couldn't make it, but I wanted to see it so bad. I've seen so many great shows at the PPAC. It's an excellent venue.
Yeah, PPAC is Providence Performing Arts Center, in case you're not from around here. A theater that I saw John Mulaney and Pete Davidson last week. And
oh, no way. Was that good?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, nice.
That was great. Mulaney was awesome. Pete Davidson was actually funny. The last time I had seen them together, Pete Davidson wasn't, but he was actually funny this time. And Mulaney described PPAC as ridiculous that a theater this nice is in a town like Providence.
No way.
As if, he described the situation as if a man shit his pants, but he's wearing cufflinks.
That's actually a pretty good...
like
description of the city of Providence.
Yeah, every time I've seen him in Providence, he opens with like a 5-minute run about all the DUI billboards.
Yeah.
Nice. Which let you know you're approaching Providence.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Chicken Run?
Let's do it.
All right. So I already said this. I already said a lot about Chicken Run. Maybe I'll edit that into this part. We'll see. If so, here it is. But if not, I'll just recap real quick. I saw this in theaters. I don't think I've seen it fully since. I saw it in theaters year 2000. I would have been 9. So
that's wild. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
This is one of the best films that we've seen or that I've seen as part of this podcast.
Yes, this movie's awesome.
If like next year for anniversary month,
yeah,
this is the movie that I'm going to say was the best film that I've seen.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that.
So far.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have been a few years older, right? So it's probably like...
I would have been 12,
Yeah, it's like a kid's movie. Maybe it's not necessarily
right.
catching your eye. That makes sense. But do you have a 1-minute plot summary for this one?
I'm prepped this time.
Hell yeah. Whenever you're ready.
In a prisoner of war camp, chicken farm, a bunch of chickens keep planning their escape only to fail and get caught over and over again by the evil Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy. Ginger, the leader, doesn't give up hope. One day, a daredevil rooster comes flying into the coop, named Steve McQueen, Rocky. He can fly, or can he? In a Rocky training montage, he trains the chickens to fly, but lo and behold, chickens can't fly, and Rocky is a fraud. He's just a 2-bit circus performer on the run. Ginger is sad, realizing they'll never escape, but Ginger is struck by a moment of genius by looking at a set of wings, and she leans on an old warbird named Fowler and builds a plane. After a bit of tussle with the Tweedies, the plane makes it over the fence. Ginger, Rocky, and all the chickens live happily ever after on a chicken farm. The end.
A bird preserve.
Yeah. Crossed out.
Yeah. It's as you alluded to, this movie began life as a parody of 1963's Steve McQueen starring Great Escape.
The Great Escape.
It ended up being not just a parody, not just a spoof, but its own thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Still taking liberty from that for the frame, but the action of it is different, and a lot of things about this movie that stand out now to me watching it as an adult is, you are struck by the fact that aside from Rocky, both all the main characters and the main villain are all women.
Yeah. No,
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I read a review that this is a very feminine film, especially for the time.
Yes, and there's a lot of iconography and I don't know, maybe you want to say symbolism. The way that they actually do escape is by basically ignoring everything Rocky was telling them.
Exactly.
And they manufacture something. They're sewing. They're using scissors. They're making fabrics and stuff. And they're using quote unquote women's work to get it done, pretty much.
Very World War II vibe when...
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, like Rosie the Riveter type of thing.
Yeah. I think this is set in the 50s, so it's basically that. And Fowler talking about his RAF days.
Right,
and,
yeah.
You're like, what the hell is he talking about?
He's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's great. Then you get to that, he's like, we were obviously mascots. So we weren't flying actual
I'm
crates.
A chicken.
Yeah, I'm a chicken. We're not allowed to fly crates. Which they don't have the word for planes.
Right.
So, anyway, so not to skip all around and get to like the context first, but I think actually I already did the context. Aardman started in I think the 80s by Peter Lord. Nick, I almost said Miller because I was rewatching New Girl. Oh, what I said? Nick Parker? Is that what I said his name was earlier?
Nick
Park. Sorry, God. Nick Park. He's the guy who actually has the ideas and the muscle that he puts into it. He's the one who created Wallace and Gromit. He already has 3 Academy Awards by the time he makes this, co-directed by him and Peter Lord. And super successful guys.
Yeah.
All that to say, I love Aardman and Wallace and Gromit we already talked about. But so that's what this movie's born from. Just guys who are at the absolute top of their craft, have already been recognized for it. Here's their first feature film, and they knock it out of the park. It's just great.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So it's so good. I love the look of this movie. I think it holds up pretty well. Any stop motion really does, because I just love the tactile kind of nature, the fact that you can see the fingerprints on all the models.
For sure. This movie it's not a very dated or you can tell it's the year 2000 at all. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 100%. This is something we talked about with Fantastic Mr. Fox too. And in that movie, Wes Anderson and his team purposely didn't try and use digital correction to hide that fingers had been touching these models. In Fantastic Mr. Fox especially, they actually have textured fur type stuff, so you can see it's getting moved around frame to frame, and it looks like there's constantly wind or something.
Right.
But that's just sort of part of the aesthetic. Same's true here. They're constantly seeing the fingerprints moving around on the it's plasticine with the moldings around it.
This must take a ton of effort.
Yes. So
and time.
I think it's January 98 to June 99. They said they got about a minute a week.
Oh, wow.
84 minutes. So yeah, that's about the math.
And you have to move the mouth. Every shot, the mouth moves up, down, left, right.
They said for every model, they had a different beak for each sound that it could make.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much. So yeah, that's how they do it. They switch out the mouths.
Yep.
And you can see that's where the seams are with these particular models.
Sure.
They're switching out the mouths.
But it's not that noticeable. You have to really be looking for that to notice it. To me, it wasn't noticeable at all.
No, I totally agree. And even if it was, it would add to it. That's the thing. So Henry Selick, who directed what you on the last episode called the most overrated movie ever, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
His most recent movie, Wendell and Wild, on Netflix, I want to say last year, they made the decision to not hide any of the seams.
Yeah.
So you actually see the seams where around their eyes, because eyes and mouths, get swapped out, and you actually see all those seams in that movie. And I don't know, that movie's fucking weird as hell, but it's good too.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say, aesthetically, I think this movie's awesome.
I thought this movie was excellent.
Yeah. We can get into the plot too.
Yeah.
Rocky doesn't come in until about 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
You get a montage of the escape attempts led by Ginger, who's the main chicken. You can tell her apart because she's got a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other chickens there, the most prominent ones, Babs. We love Babs. Is great. She's always sewing.
Yeah.
She doesn't really get what's going on.
She's Irish.
I guess so. Yeah.
Right? That would be the accent.
Yeah. There's another one. I forget her name, but she's kind of a dick.
Yeah. Agnes?
Something like that, yeah. She's played by Imelda Staunton. Who
I think it's Agnes.
Most people probably know from the Harry Potter movies. She plays Umbridge.
Yep. My second favorite character, Mac, who is Craig Ferguson's sister.
Craig Ferguson's sister, yeah, that's right. There's the Scottish kind of brainiac, sort of assistant to Ginger, who's working on the designs and the science.
The engineer.
Yeah, the engineer, exactly. That's
the one that Rocky Road's always like, she's speaking English?
Yeah. Americans can't understand Scottish people. Makes sense.
Which is weird because he's not American. He's Australian.
Yeah, it's Mel Gibson. We haven't mentioned yet. Figured we can kind of talk around it. But that's Mel Gibson. It's our first Mel Gibson movie, technically. You don't really notice it, though. Honestly, I feel like he sounds a lot like George Clooney in this.
He does.
He's kind of doing that.
Not that he has an Australian
vibe.
accent anyway, but...
And I know we were just talking about Fantastic Mr. Fox. Not to keep bringing it back to that, because there's not a ton of overlap. But I just feel like it's a similar kind of fake it till you make it vibe.
Right, yeah. I felt this movie, though, was very anti-American.
I think that's just British people.
No, I'm just kidding. Although Fowler, he's like, the Yanks.
Yeah.
Get out of here. We don't need you. Always late to every war.
Oversexed and overpaid.
Overpaid and over here.
And over here, yeah. And it's great, yeah. So it's just the Tweedies on their farm. they're mean to these chickens. It's an egg operation, but if you don't produce eggs, they kill you.
Right.
Really early in the movie, before much dialogue's happened at all, one of these chickens gets God. And it's like, I think seeing this as a 9-year-old was kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah. This is where chickens come from.
This is where chickens come from. Yeah. It's definitely does, you know, if you wanted to read a sort of vegetarian message from this or an anti-livestock farming message, it's not too hard to get there.
Yeah. But I think it's, well, sure. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. I think from there, it's sort of just, you know, them just talking about like, okay, what else can we do to escape? And then Rocky shows up.
Right.
He flies in over the fence, or at least he looks like he's flying, hits the weather vane, falls down.
Off the wires.
Yep.
Yep.
Very obvious to Ginger within a few scenes that he just escaped from the circus.
Yeah. Well, the circus shows up.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking for him.
Yep. It's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Hide me.
And then they just kind of go from there. There's I mean, I feel like with this movie, you covered a lot of the plot in the 1 minute. So I don't feel the need to get too deep into it. But
that's true. But
some of the sequences are great. The montage you mentioned is really good.
The Rocky Roads, though, when he comes in, he's like, I'm Rocky, the Rhode Island Red.
Yeah.
No, that's a callback, or I mean, a tie-in to Pete. We've been talking about Providence. Here's another local connection.
Absolutely.
Right here in our own chicken run movie.
He's on the bottle for Autocrat.
Yep.
Coffee milk.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. A famous
coffee syrup. Sorry.
I don't think that breed of rooster exists anymore, though.
Oh no.
I don't know. I have to look that up.
Yeah.
I think
there was a hockey
I just
team.
made that up. That's right. Yeah. Before they became the Providence Bruins.
Yep. It's just it's really cool.
But
it's just all good. I don't know.
I never seen this movie. I've seen some of the memes.
Sure.
Like on the internet, right?
Yeah. So I guess it's that's a good point that we should talk about, since that's the point of the freaking show. So yeah, what are you thinking as you're firing this up, as it's getting going?
Well, I love the shout out to the Rhode Island Red.
Well, sure.
It's a very famous breed of rooster.
Yes.
And I didn't pick up that it was Rocky Roads until I saw it and he mentioned it. I was like, oh, that's excellent. I love that.
Yes.
I like the allegories to The Great Escape and
Yeah.
World War II and sort of like
the fact that it just is a prisoner of war camp.
Exactly.
Like, the physical resemblance is,
right.
It's so funny. The music being like the kind of military sort of marching.
Right.
Yeah.
And the slapstick comedy and just the comedy in general is just totally on point and hilarious.
The physical gags that Aardman puts together are never equaled anywhere else.
Never.
I feel like.
And chickens with don't lose your head, and they all start freaking out. You know what I mean? Or or like Chicken Little, the sky's falling, they just flip out at any little thing that goes wrong.
Yeah.
And Ginger's always like, you guys got to relax. Like, don't eat all the chicken feed. They're just trying to fatten you up.
Yeah.
They just go after it
and
anyway.
They're going to kill all of us at the same time.
Right.
And everyone gets super depressed. And Rocky has actually a good point there. It's like, wow, you really can't tell them they're all going to die.
Yeah. In a purely American way. Like, don't tell them they're going to die or that their fate is inevitable.
Yes.
Motivate them by telling them things that they want to hear.
Yeah, 100%. The movie is, I feel like, pretty intense. I feel like I remember it feeling like it was pretty intense as a 9-year-old. There's some
it
like
certainly
real
keeps you
sequences.
hooked.
Yeah. I mean, these chickens are in mortal peril. That just keeps escalating.
Right.
So mentioned it's an egg farm, but it switches probably even less than halfway through because the profits from the egg manufacture, the egg production is so low that they decide to start making pies. They bring in that huge contraption,
right?
And then there's that great sequence where Mr. Tweedy's like, "Oh, I know exactly who to test this on." He goes and grabs Ginger.
Right.
This is after the dance sequence, which we shouldn't skip over. Is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Just there's going to be a lot of these sequences where it's like, this one's great. It's so impressive. The amount of time this must have taken is mind-boggling.
I can't believe that people actually took the time to do that. That's the most
good.
impressive thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just still images with people meticulously moving stuff around, and it just works so well. And I
Right.
know I'm describing animation, but it's
Right.
still one of those things that bears repeating because you forget that this is, after a while, not real characters because it just feels so physically present.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, the sequence where Rocky has to rescue Ginger from the machine is, I don't know, one of the best animation sequences ever made.
Yeah.
It's so good.
No,
that,
I agree.
that they do like the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Right.
kind of, but funnier and with more chicken pie specific.
It's right. And it even as the door is closing to the oven and she goes back and rescues her hat. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
A good shout out. Again, this movie co-produced by DreamWorks.
Right.
DreamWorks SKG. S stands for Spielberg. So,
right.
I'm sure he appreciated that getting thrown in.
And David Geffen.
Well, yeah. We mentioned Katzenberg. Of course, this is still the period in time where Jeffrey Katzenberg, former Disney executive pushed out by Michael Eisner, specifically wants to turn DreamWorks into an animation studio to take down Disney.
Right.
Because he's got a hair across his ass about that. And for a while, it actually surpasses Disney, I'd say, from Shrek in 2001 through, I don't know, Frozen, maybe? But there's like 10 years where Disney animation is like,
Crushing
who
it.
cares?
Right.
Like when their big movies are like Home on the Range and Chicken Little and stuff, whereas DreamWorks is making $1 billion with Shrek the Third and
Right.
stuff.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
So hey, good for Katzenberg. But then he made Quibi. He had that one documentary about Jazel, and
And that was it.
every episode was 7 minutes long. And it came out right when the pandemic started, where no one needed to be on the go and watch only 7 minute long shows. Anyway,
Good idea. Poor execution.
all that to say, this sequence is incredible. Usually my go-to for my favorite sequence in stop motion animation is from a different Aardman work, specifically The Wrong Trousers, a Wallace and Gromit short,
Oh, yeah.
and Oscar-winning Wallace and Gromit short. Four of the Wallace and Gromit things, I think the 4 shorts that came out between like 89 and 95 or whatever, they're in like one package on Amazon Prime
Yeah.
where you can watch them. 2 of them won Oscars. They're all under a half hour long. They're all worth watching.
I remember watching that in middle school
Yeah.
for like English class.
Yeah.
I forget why, but
It's very English. That's
Yeah.
probably not what they meant.
right.
But it's extremely
right.
British.
Yeah. That's not what my English teacher meant at the time.
Yeah. Anyway, Wrong Trousers has a sequence at the end where the penguin, Feathers McGraw, is and Gromit are locked in a high-speed train chase. And the whole sequence is incredible, but then there's a bit where Gromit, who is the dog, has to grab spare track and lay it down in front of the train as it's moving.
Sure.
And it is, they made it in 1993. It's like, it's the same year as, Jurassic Park and
Right.
Nightmare Before Christmas. And you're like, no one's done anything more impressive in stop motion than this.
I totally agree.
And anyway, so that was a full 7 years before this sequence. And it feels similar to me because it is sort of like a runaway train situation where there's just like almost literal out of the frying pan and into the fire over
Right.
and over again.
Over-
and it just
right.
keeps escalating.
That's yeah.
And it's just so kinetic, and the moving parts in this and the lighting it's incredible, and most of it's so fucking
Yeah.
hard. It just looks so hard.
And Fowler reminds me though of what's the Muppets character? Is that Bald
Sam
Eagle?
Eagle.
Yeah, Sam Eagle. Yeah, it's almost like the same guy.
Specifically, Sam Eagle in Muppets Christmas Carol,
Yeah,
where he says
that's
it's the
exactly
American way.
What I
And,
had in my
like,
mind. Right.
Kermit like whispers in his ear, or I think Gonzo whispers in his ear, and he corrects him. Say it's the British way. Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
That voice actor died, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we're being replaced by another guy who was in Harry Potter for the sequel, which comes out in a month on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh yeah. December 15th. Yeah. Chicken Nugget or something like that.
Yeah, Chicken Run, Nugget something. Nugget.
Dawn of the Nugget.
Dawn of the Nugget. Okay, sure. Most of the cast has been replaced, but Babs is still the same. Bunty, I think, actually is Imelda Staun's character. She's still in it.
Bunty. Yeah.
They replaced the main characters, Mel Gibson, for obvious reasons.
Right.
Rocky is going to be voiced by Zachary Levi. Tandiwe Newton is taking over Ginger in the sequel. And then I think besides the couple I mentioned, there's a couple other people. I think Mac is still Craig Ferguson's sister. but most of the cast has been
It's
recast.
gonna be new. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's new characters too.
Yeah.
Timothy Spall is one of the mice.
Oh, the
I
rats.
guess probably rats, right?
Yeah.
That
There are
makes more
two
sense.
rats. Yeah.
I think Timothy Spall, another Harry Potter. This is just British actors. They were all in Harry Potter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The two rats are great characters in this film too.
Fantastic.
Yeah. They're always trying to sell them crap
Yeah.
because they just collect crap.
Yeah. It makes sense. They can steal stuff.
You got two thimbles. I got this necklace. It's a really like a
Yeah.
bathtub plug.
I love when they're under the gnomes and Mr. Tweety sees them and he's just, it's all in your head.
Yeah. Well, he says, now we have gnomes.
Oh, yeah. Now we have gnomes. Sure. Whatever. Poor
Well,
guy.
but you mentioned that is a funny recurring theme about Mr. Tweety always trying to catch them.
Yes.
And then he sees them working out, doing
They're
push-ups.
organizing.
But then he turns around and he says, Mrs. Tweety.
Yeah.
And he turns back and they're just
Yeah.
clucking away, pretending to eat.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I think the biggest laugh for me was when they are caught like super red-handed, like making the plane, and Ginger's like, well, obviously the only thing we can do is attack this guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And he yells, Mrs. Tweety, the chickens are revolting. She says, finally we agree.
That is a good line.
So
That is a really good line.
It's just so funny. Charming movie. Yeah. They build that big plane. It's and I was thinking like this is kind of a lot like the end of Bug's Life, but
Oh, that's true too.
they also make a big plane.
What year did Bugs Life come out? That was like 2001, right?
Bug's Life, I think, is 97. It's
Oh.
it's between the first two Toy Stories.
Okay. So maybe they borrowed a little.
So it might be
from that
96. I don't know. I mean, they start making this around the same time.
Yeah.
They've already begun making the movie, so they probably already wrote it by then. And it's different enough.
plot. Right.
And it has that great sequence where they're, having to go back and forth because
Right.
the ramp isn't down, and then
The Christmas lights.
the Christmas lights. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's just all good.
Mrs. Tweety trying to hack him with an axe.
Yep.
And then you don't think Ginger's going to make it, but she cuts
Yeah.
she's able to cut the Christmas lights right at the right spot.
Yes. How sad the rats are to be giving up the eggs.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
they get their eggs at the end.
They
Well,
do.
actually, that scene, though, and when she's flying back into the house and
Yeah.
Fowler's like, bombs away.
Yeah.
What a character.
Fowler's great. We love Fowler.
But my scene that I laughed the most at is the very end. When they're on they're a bird sanctuary
Yeah.
crossed out, and the two rats are arguing back and forth. They want to.
Oh, what they need to start with? A chicken or an egg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they so and then
Really funny.
it's like almost Pinky in the Brain scenario. Then the dumber rat is like,
Yeah.
let's hash this argument again.
Yeah. Let's start over. I think that's the kind of joke that's like might have been the first joke they wrote for the movie.
Right. They wrote the
But they're
end
like,
first. Yeah.
We got to earn this first.
Exactly.
We can end on this. You can't do this too early. Oh man.
But did you think that Rocky and Ginger were going to get together?
Probably.
Yeah. Why else?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of obvious.
probably.
Yeah.
He's checking her out immediately.
Yeah.
He's creepily staring at her while she's like doing push-ups.
Yeah, right.
All the stuff guys do. Just a solid freaking movie. I don't know. We've only talked about it for about 20 minutes, but
No, more than that.
nope.
I mean, it's a 90-minute film.
84
84 minutes.
with
And
opening and closing credits.
the whole film just flows right through.
Yeah. It's one of the best movies ever made in animation for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
It's so good. Just love it. What else happens? Well, we should mention, I mean, Rocky does eventually get found out that he's a con.
A fraud.
Yeah, a fraud.
Yeah.
Not really a con artist. It's not like what he does for a living or anything. He's just kind of
He's a circus
a
performer.
lie of convenience
Yeah.
in the moment.
He gets shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, he gets shot out of a cannon. He leaves the part of the poster behind that tells them that
Right. With the wings.
with the wing. Yeah.
After he wins Fowler's admiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just, he can't take it. So he gets out of there. It is established early in the movie that, well, yeah, I mean, you can get one or two chickens out, but Ginger wants to get everyone out at the same time.
Yeah.
So then Rocky's just like, oh, he just leaves
Yeah.
because he can if
Right.
you're by yourself. And he finds a small bicycle and a radio.
Yeah.
I guess probably maybe from the rats.
But the song they're playing is
Wanderer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which the 70s.
Yeah, whatever. I think that was used in the trailer for Fallout 4.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Or I don't know I don't know what year that song came out. I didn't look it up, but
61.
oh, close. So
Sorry,
it's,
Dion.
so if that came out in 61, then you're not too far off.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So it's the 1960s.
Just Dion. I never knew that dude's last name was McCucci. Yeah, of course it's Dion. Yeah. It could be the 60s. That's what it looks like in rural Britain, maybe.
Yeah. And that would make sense because then Fowler would be like the correct age as like an old Air Force vet.
Yeah. It's like early 60s.
Well, Rocky's too his own the wing.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't fly because my wings hurt.
Yep.
But he's drinking.
He's milking it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's milking it.
Yeah.
Because he can't fly at all.
No.
And,
Roosters can't fly. Neither can chickens.
No, they almost do. They just need some thrust.
Yeah. So let's steal the belt.
Yep. And then really just fling these birds around.
Yeah. Well, that's another funny scene that I laughed out loud at as well. When the rats, they get the suspenders.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Because they think he's going to lay some eggs for them, but he can't lay any eggs because he's a rooster.
Right.
And they come to that realization later in the movie when he says, roosters don't lay eggs. And when Ginger gives him the egg to find me all the wrench, the nails, the screws.
Yeah, apparently that's a woman thing, I think is what he said.
Yeah. Go ask your mom. Yeah.
Right. Oh, man. Cool movie. Yeah, so many good sequences in this. And I like, I do really like the ending. So hopefully the sequel doesn't mess it up too bad.
I think that on trend, the longer time that's waited between sequels, they've come out pretty good, except Dumb and Dumberer.
23 years for this one. So, 23 years. Jesus.
And I just think that the writing and the dialogue of this whole film is just so great. And like I talked about Kirkpatrick, the screenwriter, right? He also wrote James and the Giant Peach, which I think which was a great movie too back in the day.
Yeah. Weird one.
Wicked weird. I think I was afraid of that.
Based on Doll. So
yeah.
Then seeing something from, this period of time also in British countryside feels very Doll-y also, just because my American brain has limited perspective and that just associates that time period and England with Roald Dahl.
He also wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Okay, not as good, but okay.
Charlotte's Web.
I think Jeff Garlin is in Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Over the Hedge.
Oh, people really like that.
He directed that too.
People like that one. I never saw it. Or people hate that one. I don't know.
And then he's the writer and executive producer of Dawn of the Nugget.
There you go.
So I don't know. I just thought that the whole film flowed, and I was just captivated from start to finish. I thought it was just really excellent.
Yeah.
But I like too that at the end, Mr. Tweedy's trying to catch the chickens the whole time. He keeps telling his wife that the chickens they're organized. They're working out. Yeah. They're getting stronger. It's like, you don't listen to me. And she just blows him off the whole time. And she comes off as the much meaner one.
Oh, yeah.
But he finally says, I'm not a pushover anymore.
Yeah.
Pushes the barn door down on her.
Yeah.
And takes over his own life.
Yeah.
So this whole movie is a story of redemption.
Yeah. I want to see 20 years on. Of course, chickens live that long, right? The sequel is probably like a week later, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But
not 23 years later.
23 years later. Let's see where Mr. Tweedy ended up. I hope he remarried.
Yeah.
Ended up with his own farm.
Well,
making vegetarian pies.
Right. It's just vegetables and gravy. Yeah. That fall into the pie crust.
Just veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But this film also has themes of like, the Tweedies are kind of like the Nazis.
Yes, there's a lot of fascism.
Yeah. And then the chickens come together and they're like, not really communism, but more like I don't know.
I mean, they end up on a commune.
Yeah, right. Sure. Allegory for like togetherness and helping each other out. Maybe communism.
A little bit. That's in there, dude. There's a lot. I mean, you could read a lot into the 80 minutes of this movie. Ostensibly for kids, but obviously resonant way beyond that. It had great reviews when it came out. It made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Huge hit.
It made $227 million on like a $44 million budget.
Insane for these guys. And
Which it's hard to believe that it only cost $44 million to do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the materials
just
are probably
the
cheap.
sweat equity that
That's
goes
what I'm
into
saying.
these kinds of movies.
Right.
So I want to talk about more, big picture stop motion, and then, also like the stuff we're going to thread together. But maybe we close out our thoughts on the movie first with some ratings. That's okay with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So on a scale of 0.5 to 5, on any scale of your choosing, aside from stars, what would you give 2000's Chicken Run?
This might be sacrilegious, but I give this movie 5 chicken pot pies out of 5.
Wow. It's the woman's touch. Why not? This is a 5 out of 5. These movies are so hard to make.
It's so hard.
God, I always think of the perfect joke from Parks and Recreation, where did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
Yeah, not all of it though.
Yeah. So Adam Scott's character Ben is in like a deep depression, and as like a project, he makes a stop motion animation movie, and he works on it for a really long time, and then like is excited to show it to Rob Lowe's character, and it's like 4 seconds long.
Nice.
And he's like, oh, that was a week of work.
But one
And
last
then
thing
that causes him to have a breakdown.
that was also a great scene in the movie when
Yeah.
Rocky sees the poster and it says it's a woman's touch.
Yeah.
Or is this like? But it's Mrs. Tweedy who's a miserable person.
Miserable version. I do want to call out before I give my rating. Sorry, now the flow's all messed up. There's one particular scene where I'm like, how'd they do that? And I'm sure there's a simple answer, and I'm just dumb. But it's one of those things I don't want to know. When they're unboxing the new machinery for the pie making conveyor machine, and it's both of the Tweedies on different sides of like shiny saw blades.
Right. Oh, right.
And you see their reflections in it while they're spinning around.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they do that?
Yeah. That's a great scene. You're right. Yeah.
Anything where like the characters are talking and there's some consistent motion happening, it must be hard enough.
Right. But
because,
to have a reflection in clay.
Yeah.
Right.
What the fuck is going on here?
Right.
It's insane. And maybe that's a metal prop, probably, but I just mean like they're also talking while you can see the reflections and shit. Like, what are we fucking doing?
Right.
And again, this is 1993. The CGI is like, yes, if you have hundreds of millions of dollars and you can from far away make a CGI T-Rex.
Yeah.
Because you're Steven Spielberg.
Right.
But they didn't have those resources.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. Well, I just don't want to know.
That's true too. Imagine if they made Jurassic Park the way they wanted to make it stop
with
motion.
Phil Tippett's stop motion.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs. Yeah.
That would have been wild.
That would have been wild. I think that's what Spielberg kind of wanted, was sort of a Ray Harryhausen throwbacky sort of look anyway.
Right.
But once he saw like, oh, I can actually make it look real.
Right.
Oh, well then let's make the most money anyone's ever made at the time. Which he
I'm going to put hedge all my bets on computers.
Yeah. Phil Tippett's still mad about it, but that's okay. He got credited as the dinosaur wrangler in that film. So it's all good. Yeah. What's my scale? Okay. So I'll go with I didn't think about a good one in advance.
I have another one. Give it.
Yeah. What you got?
Give it. I'll give this film 5 Royal Air Force Medals of Bravery out of 5.
I was thinking to give you the medal. It's really good. We were just mascots. They don't let chickens fly planes. Great.
That's yeah. I'm a chicken, you idiot.
Yeah.
Basically what he says.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
So good. Okay, we'll do 5 out of 5. Yeah. No, I lost it. I was going to say something like 5 out of 5 eggs produced by a rooster by the end of the month.
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly make sense, but it works.
It works.
So we liked this movie a lot. It's a good one. Go check it out. It's under 90 minutes long.
it's on Peacock for free.
Yeah. And it's on Netflix if you're already paying for Netflix. So you got options. Stop motion generally, I mentioned, I guess the most recent prominent one is Wendell and Wild, which I think is about a year ago on Netflix. That's Henry Selick. He made Coraline and directed Nightmare Before Christmas. That would be his big pulls. Do you, and I mean, I'm sure we talked about this a year ago, but I don't exactly remember. Where are you on stop motion?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, obviously they're just not going to make that many of them, but it's just
so
a great.
Hard, they take so long. Is
Right.
the problem, really?
Yep. But as long as there's studios that are willing to do it once in a while, I highly recommend. I would never not see a stop motion film.
Yeah. I guess the only one who's really just doing it as their thing is as a studio. I mean, Leica. They made Coraline, Box Trolls, Paranorman, most recently Kubo and the Two Strings. And I feel like Kubo must be like 3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I remember Box Trolls.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw it, but I remember the preview for it.
Yeah. Let me see. Kubo, Two Strings. Oh my God. Kubo and Two Strings, 2016 film, actually. Saw that in theaters also. I must have missed something by Leica then. Oh yeah, they made Missing Link. That was their most recent one. I think people didn't like Missing Link though.
I never saw Missing Link.
Yeah, I feel like people didn't like it. That's the one. No, it's not. That's the one. Yeah, it's like it's a Sasquatch who meets Yetis or something.
Oh, that sounds like a great concept.
Hugh Jackman's in it as a voice, obviously.
Yeah. You ever play Chicken Run the video game back in the day?
No.
Me neither.
No. It's mentioned in the Wikipedia article that it literally just is Great Escape.
Yeah.
Is the game. So if you're looking for a game version of the Great Escape, I guess the Chicken Run game we'll have to do.
This film did make me want to eat a chicken sandwich, though. I was kind of hungry watching it, and I was like, what could I eat right now? A nice chicken sandwich while I watch Chicken Run. Nice.
That's a little sad.
A little bit, but...
And so I was also thinking, like, so what should be... Because we're not actually ending up on a Thanksgiving theme.
Yeah, but what would be a question for this month?
Yeah, I think I still want to make it like a Thanksgiving question, though. So the easiest thing to pick would be something like, now that we've been talking about pies and whatnot.
Yeah.
What's your go-to if you had to pick one Thanksgiving food? Is it turkey? And if not, why?
This is like a chicken and egg question. It's an unanswerable question.
All right. I mean, you can give me some of your favorites if you got more than one, but I really if you have.
Yeah. Well, I might be a rare bird, but I really like turkey. Yeah. I know most people don't. Yeah. They complain it's too dry. I actually don't. I don't mind turkey. Am I eating turkey every day? No. Yeah. I eat a turkey on Thanksgiving. Fine. Love it. Happy guy. Yeah.
Dude, I love turkey. And I didn't realize until I was older that people were like, oh man, yeah, Thanksgiving's fun, but like, man, I wish we could just have chicken instead.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
I
love turkey.
Right.
Save your chickens for Christmas.
It's a phenomenal food. Yeah. And I like everything that goes with it. Stuffing, cranberry sauce.
Yes. 100%.
My family, we eat a banana cream pie, which is my favorite pie.
Nice.
So
I'm not doing carbs right now, so the pies and the stuffing are gonna be tough.
You're gonna leave that off, yeah.
And the mashed potatoes. Oh,
so you're just gonna eat turkey.
I think the only thing I have is turkey. I could do like broccoli with cheese.
Yeah.
As long as there's not like a breaded crust.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, or I'd probably just do that as a cheat day. But since
it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, I'd have to go turkey also. So maybe the question going forward, or maybe we're just weird and other people won't pick turkey, but maybe it's what's your take on turkey, and then separate from turkey, what's your one dish? One dish you gotta have at the table.
Yeah. But no, I think this is a great idea for November, but there's only so many bird movies. So next year, what about football movies?
Yeah, I that's one I've definitely played with before, is doing football movies. I do think I'm going to do like a Thanksgiving special this year.
Gotcha.
As in a Thanksgiving special about Thanksgiving specials, plural. I'm going to pick a couple.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about those because they're all like made for TV and like 20 minutes long.
Yeah. So. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
I think you probably answered this, but so yeah, you're in on turkey. Aside from turkey, what's the one thing you got to have on your Thanksgiving too?
No, for me, it's a banana cream pie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I know you said that already.
Yeah.
But just to get it clean, I guess.
I mean, so I could name something else, but nobody outside of this little area of the world we live in would understand what it is.
Oh, is it Portuguese?
Yeah.
Is it like queijadas or something?
No,
Or
it's
like-
just a chorizo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Which my family
Yeah,
eats on
screw it.
Thanksgiving.
Let's get some chorizo going.
You're right. Because my grandmother always made the turkey.
Yeah.
So she's Portuguese. She always make it Portuguese style with a couple sticks of
stuffing.
chorizo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, my girlfriend's Irish. They've haven't eaten too much chorizo in their lifetime. Like,
They just
once
throw some corned beef in there. That's
I
what I do.
introduced them to Portuguese stuffing. Now it's the best.
Portuguese stuffing is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Try it if you're not from this area.
Get a
It's
cookbook.
probably the same thing. Just Google Spanish stuffing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure it's the same thing with
Yeah.
chorizo.
It's not the same thing, though. You
I
can't
know.
make
I
a
know
mistake.
it's not. I know it's not the same thing.
You can't tell our listeners that it's the same thing.
I'm just saying you won't have as much chorizo readily available to you.
True.
But you can get close-ish.
Yeah.
With the chorizo.
Right. That's true. That's true. Fair point.
Yeah. Anyway, who are we kidding? Everyone lives within 5 blocks of here.
Actually, a great question I think you should ask is what came first, the chicken or the egg?
That's a good question, especially for this one. I don't know. I think some kind of weird zygote.
Yeah.
So probably technically that makes it more eggish.
It's probably a dolphin
Embryonic.
that grew legs, then became a cow,
Yeah.
turned into a chicken.
Turn into a chicken.
Yep.
So dolphin's the answer.
Yeah,
I think one of those weird prehistoric dolphins with the sharp teeth.
exactly.
I think dolphins have sharp teeth, right? But the ones with like really fucked up teeth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the real sharp ones.
Yeah. Don't like those guys. All right. Well, this was fun.
No, this is great. Thanks for letting me.
Yeah. This
do
is always
back-to-back
fun to be
weeks.
like, oh, yeah, this is a great movie that, probably was outside your purview at the time. And I hope you like it. And,
No, way
yeah,
outside. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you did. All right. Yeah. Let's call it. Oh, man. I'm slacking. I wish I had thought of a movie specific outro. I'm sure there is one. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I will be leaving that way. Good line. Just a good movie.
Excellent.
There it is. That's what we got to end on. As I said earlier, you can find our stuff on Linktree, linktr.ee/late to the movies. If you don't like the podcast app you're listening to it on, all the available ones can be found on that Linktree. Also, that dope hoodie that Anthony's wearing. This is audio only, but just picture it. It looks great.
tpublic.com.
It's hoodie season.
That's true.
Get it? Well, you can. There's only as many hoodies as TeePublic has available in their warehouse. Who knows? It's got to be a finite amount, so don't wait. Anyway, thanks, Anthony.
Thank you.
Later.